Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that people don't actually fail because they tried? They only fail because they never got started. One of the worst things that you could ever say to yourself is, oh, I'm afraid to start because I'm afraid to fail. I don't believe that to be the whole truth. I think that the truth of the matter is that you're afraid of what failure might say about us. For an example, you start your own business and it doesn't work right away. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm not good enough. Or you start to write your book and hardly nobody buy it. All of a sudden, you start to say, I'm not good enough. You start a YouTube channel and only 10 people are watching. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. But have you noticed the wordplay here? Have you noticed that the actual failure no longer become the event, but now it becomes an identity? It's just that somewhere along the line, we'll start to equate our value and our self-worth to a result. And that's not cool, because if your plan or your business and your YouTube channel, if it works, then you feel valuable. But if it doesn't work, you start to question yourself. Have you noticed a little born baby or a baby that's beginning to walk? When he or she start to get up and take the first steps, they might take a few steps and all of a sudden they fall in their little hiney. And I think that that's like one of the cutest stages that a baby could ever have in its prime or in its life. Then they'll get back up again and they'll take maybe 4 steps and fall in their hind. They never sit down or lay down and stay down and decide to say, I don't think walking is for me. Because if you notice the little baby that started to walk is now all of a sudden in a couple of days or a couple of weeks running around the house. If you notice that first a baby needs tummy time and then it gets upset by staying on its tummy so long to the point that it started to figure out how to use my hands and use its legs. Then all of a sudden they start to crawl because they're sick and tired of being on their stomach alone, you know? Then all of a sudden now they stop crawling and they get tired of crawling. And all of a sudden they get up and they start to walk. That same baby that's walking around, running around the house. And that's exactly what your book is, your YouTube channel is, your business is. But you have to give yourself ample time to be able to crawl, walk, and run. You know, it's not good that all of a sudden now you allow for the event to become your identity. It's two different things. You can't compare the result of a failure to become you and your identity and your self-worth. Because there is no such thing as failure. I like the way that they say that you learn. And if instead of allowing for failure to look like it's a self-worth, take a look at it as feedback. You're just learning this feedback. And then you ask yourself, okay, what have I done different? Or what could I do different? You know, from the first time that I've ever tried this. Nobody will ever get it the first time. Sometimes they don't get it until the 10th time. But you got to give yourself ample time in order for that to happen. And not have an existential anxiety to say that whatever my result is more me than the actual result and or feedback. Understand what I'm saying? I did a short film, you know, and it was called It's Not Just About the Candy. And if you can, go to DF Films and take a look at it. The husband come home, the wife is sitting on the couch. She's in her phone and she ignores him when he comes into the house. He's like, hey babe, long day. She's like, I know. He says, everything all right? She says, yeah, everything's good. But she doesn't look at him. She's still on her phone, not really giving him her undivided attention, but she's still aware of every word that he says. He drops his bag down the table or whatever the case may be, and he begins to walk to the refrigerator to go get him some water. As he reached the refrigerator, all of a sudden she's like, you forgot. He looks up and looks at the bottle, but he looks around and he looks at her and he's like, forgot what? She's like, you forgot the candy. You said that you would pick up the candy on the way here. He's like, oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. You know, I had a long day, like I said. I'll definitely pick you up some candy tomorrow. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever, you know? It's like, you know, sometimes I feel like when you forget the candy, that I'm not worth it, that I'm just a second thought. He's trying to tell her, babe, no, I forgot the box of candy. I'll never forget about you. And so that's the existentialism in the middle of everything. She equated her self-worth to a box of candy. When he says, I just forgot about the candy, that'll never be your worth. We should never ever in life allow for a mistake or a failure to be the equivalent of our self-worth. It's unfair to you for you to do something like that when it can actually work if you give it ample time. So what is failure? Let me ask you this. What's holding you back from pursuing your dream? What will make you feel inadequate or make you feel like you have failed off of the second try? What's the thing that keep you from feeling like you need to re-pick up that book that you started? What's keeping you from saying, I'm going to finish my album, I'm going to finish my YouTube channel, I'm going to finish my business, I'm going to pick it back up and I'm not going to fail no matter how I feel? Because I'm going to tell you something. Most times we don't fail because we don't have the ability to do it. We fail because we keep equating failure to who we are. You're always enough. You can do this. You got this. You have everything you need in order to get it done. Failure is nothing, but to learn is everything.